Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto was born in the Uzumaki clan. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune because I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was raised by the Hyuga clan, so stay tuned for that. And over in Anime King 2 I'm going to be posting What If Naruto was sent to a parallel universe? So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And later on I'm going to be posting What If Naruto pushed himself to his limit? So stay tuned for that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro. So, the last part we left off, Naruto and Nagato went towards where the children were and Akino. Arriving there, they saw two Hyuga guards outside. As the both of them were cloaked by Naruto darkness, not even the sun could penetrate this darkness. As Naruto did a hand sign and stretched out his hands towards one of the Hyugas. As the man shaked a bit, his friend asked him what was going on, but he told him nothing is wrong. He then stabbed his own Hyuga friend. Nagato was surprised for Naruto to be able to control someone at that will. As Naruto questioned the man and asked him where are the others. After getting the information, they headed into the base. Still cloaked, they slaughtered each and every scientist in their way as Nagato sealed away all of the bodies. They finally arrived to the room where Kano and all of the children were. As Naruto told Nagato to get them out because someone was coming. As Naruto quickly headed back, Orochimaru arrived as he was in control of all of this. Orochimaru could sense someone there, but he couldn't tell exactly where the person was. Orochimaru kept on taunting Naruto and telling him how weak the Uzumakis were, that is why they were wiped out. As Naruto came to a realization, yes, they were weak, that is why they lost. And for the future, he will make them strong. Nothing like this will ever happen again. As Naruto showed himself and thanked Orochimaru for that. As he felt Akino and Nagato and the other children left, the entire base exploded with Naruto vanishing into the darkness. As Orochimaru swore to him that they would meet again. We then skipped to Konoha as he got the message, every Uzumaki has been wiped out. Kushina was there as she was shocked, her son, as Minato was shocked as well. As Danzo want to retaliate against the village that attack Uzu because they can't show that they're weak and they let other villages come in their border. They fire the fire border and slaughter the Uzumakis on their home ground. After the meeting was over, as they decided that they were going to go to war, Kushina was running as Minato flashed in front of her. Minato did something in the past as Kushina hates him for that now. She is angry as she told him to go ahead and go to his war and protect Konoha. But she was still angry at him for what he did in the past. As Minato just sighed as Kushina went off. 3 weeks passed after that as Naruto told them about the war. As he told them his plan. As Konoha was planning on making a formal ally out of the sand so they can go up against other nations. But Naruto is going to stop that. As Naruto told Nagato to stay back and train the kids, start them in ninja arts, and the one that cannot do the arts, teach them in sealing or medical ninjutsu. As Naruto gave Nagato a scroll and told him to use it, open it if anything bad happens. As he told him it was from his father, Akino and Nagato was shocked because they thought that Naruto never knew his parents, as they didn't understand, but Naruto didn't want to talk about it. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the playlist and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we begin this new episode? Akeno was currently lying down under a tree as the cool breeze washed over her face, as her eyes was fixed on the redhead in front of her as he was going through their mission gear. As she sighed, "Why me?" she asked. He stopped what he was doing and turned towards her. "Aside from the fact that you're more skilled and suitable than Nagato in this task, I want you as a partner to keep me in control," Naruto said, as he lowered his gaze a little. "And why is that?" Akeno asked. "Because you have a heart, and I don't. I tend to focus on the ultimate goal. I might even kill innocent for this task, especially when I use my dark powers. And the risk greatly increases because I don't have full control. Nagato carries a lot of hatred in his heart and might not be too determined and capable of stopping me. But you can. Don't let me become a monster," Akeno, Naruto said. She walked up and sat beside him. Placing a hand on his shoulder, she gave him a warm smile. "The fact that you already know this is a proof that you will not become the monster you fear, or neither will I make you become one," Akeno promised. As he smiled, "Thanks," he said, as Akeno looked at his sweet smile. Even though he rejected her, well, he was not really in control of his feelings. He doesn't really know how to go towards them, so she will wait. She will support him as a loyal friend and a comrade. And maybe a few years later, when all this madness was over and they achieved their dream of peace, maybe. A slim chance, but a girl can hope. As Naruto saw the silence was taking too long, he pointed towards the Anbu uniform that was towards her feet. "Where did you get this?" Akeno asked. "Black markets can offer you a lot of interesting things for the right price. And these are war times. Getting things like this is much easier now," Naruto said. "Clever. But you know if this plan works, each village is going to fight against each other. What is your future goal?" she asked. "One step at a time, Akeno," said Naruto with a smirk. "You're a dangerous general, you know that?" As Naruto simply smiled. "That I am," he said. Time skip. Nagi Hyuga was keenly observing the forest around him. For the past half an hour, him and his partner Kenji Yamanaka has been patrolling the fire borders. With the world war going on, their task was highly important. But so far things were normal, and he has not come across any enemy forces trying to enter their borders. That was a good sign. His Byakugan was watching each and every sector. He was come to a surprising shock though when an Anbu suddenly flashed behind him. He yanked backwards to defend himself, but he saw it was one of Konoha's special force soldiers, and he had a scroll in his hand. "How did I not see him?" the Hyuga thought worriedly. "Huh, you Anbus are always so sneaky, but getting a jump on a Hyuga is damn impressive," said Kenji. Nagi focused his Byakugan on a young, teenage Anbu. While Konoha didn't officially accept children in such a dark unit, that was not the case with the secret force he heard rumors about, Root. As Nagi was so in his thoughts, he was just a second too late as the Anbu raised his finger and Kenji went still. Nagi quickly sent a strike towards the enemy's heart, but he froze. Dark chakra surrounded the young Anbu, and Nagi's eyes went wide, seeing one of the boy's eyes turned demonic red in color. "Dark illusion," the Anbu said, in a quiet tone. Nagi's heart started to skyrocket as he saw several Sand Shinobis approaching the fire border, and he heard Hiruzen Sarutobi's voice in his head telling him to retreat and run. Naruto pushed more of his will on the Hyuga, pushing him deeper in his Genjutsu trap world, as his ability allowed him to sense people's emotions and manipulate it to some extent. As Naruto was able to attack the most vulnerable way, fear, anger, hatred, sorrow, that was his weapon against a person. Psychological torture. Although there was a drawback of this technique, since he was manipulating their feelings and their emotions, he was feeling the same thing as well, as he took everything in his power not to kill them right away. Just like Nagi was thinking about different ways to kill the Sand Ninjas, while the Yamanaka was trapped in his own nightmare. Most of all, it took a lot of chakra. After a few more minutes of inner torture, ninjas broke as they kneeled before Naruto. Trapped in their own nightmares, the two were nothing but puppets, wait to be used by their puppet master. Hyuga, regroup with your squad, attack the closest sand outpost and destroy their enemies, said Naruto. Yes, sir. I will stop them from attacking our great nation, said Nagi, as he got up and ran off. As Naruto knew it would only last for 4 hours, but they were already close to the border, so by that time, the effects was already being done. As Naruto turned towards the Yamanaka, who stared at him blankly, as Naruto was thankful that they were just chonins, his technique, while effective, lacked the power to overwhelm powerful jonins and strong-willed envus. But by time and more training, Naruto intended to perfect this so he could control anyone. Yamanaka relayed this message to all border control. The Yamanaka nodded. All units, Code Omega, under attack by San, heavy losses. As Yamanaka sent over the message, Naruto then sliced the man's throat as they heard the gurgling sound. They were being attacked. Stage 1 complete, Naruto thought. Time to move on to stage 2. Placing his finger on the communication device in his ear, he pressed the button on it. Akino, report. Objective accomplished. I have eliminated a few chonins, genjutsu a few, and sent them to a suicide charge against a sand outpost. What about you? Akino asked. Done. Stage 1 is complete. Konoha itself will handle stage 2 of our plan. Rendezvous with me and we will finish the last partner to order. You know, you might scare an entire nation with this move, replied Akino. Naruto smiled cynically, hearing that. Let's see how a cornered animal reacts. Moments later, utter chaos was going on in the command head post. As a communication specialist, were reporting as they were being bombarded by shifting of movement enemies. The Konoha forces near the Wind Country borders towards the sand were being engaged or forced to retaliate. A man known as Tachi Uchiha grit his teeth in frustration. Give me a full report now! The man barked at his subordinates. Sir, Squad 67 and 68 are eliminated. Squad 44 and 48 and 50 are retaliating. We are still trying to get into contact with others, a female Yamanaka said. Tachi slammed his hand on the table in frustration. There can be only two possible scenarios. Either a large force invasion is striking at different locations, or the sand is striking at lightning fast speed in order to give the main force way in, said Tachi wordly. What do we do, Tachi-sama? One of the other subordinates asked. He went silent for a few seconds as he tried to go through the most suitable thing to do right now, as he could only come up with one thing. Tell our squad to fall back and regroup, and wait for reinforcement. If this is an invasion by the sand, then I highly doubt the small squads will be able to stop them. Contact Konoha. Inform them about the situation immediately, Tachi said. His subordinates quickly nodded and went to carry out the orders. The Hokage is not going to like this, said Tachi. Tachi-sama. He turned towards the second in command, the blonde female Yamanaka. What is it, Miki? He said, as he saw a terrified look in her eyes. Our communications have been sabotaged, she said, as she saw a murderous look came in the older Uchiha eyes. Damn it! Oh the hell! Never mind, use your mind power to contact Konoha now, he shouted. That is too far from my range, sir. Only Inoue-sama can contact from such a long range, said Miki wordly, making Tachi even more mad. Damn it! What good are you? Forget it. Contact our regional headquarters and find out if they're in the same mess as we are. Yes, sir, she said. As soon as she went away, he cursed. What a mess, he thought. Meanwhile, Akino watched as the fear, the panic, it started to infect the nation. She had done everything that Naruto told her to do, right from killing a few chonins to sabotaging the communication in the area. It wasn't easy, but for a former assassin it was possible. Beside her, Naruto was sitting on the tree as he was watching everything going as his plan. As she looked at him, what is his ultimate goal? To destroy the 5 nations, to recreate Uzu, to create an empire, to get justice for the Uzumakis, to achieve peace through war, she thought. But regardless of this, she would follow him no matter what, but she just couldn't understand him. It was no secret to her that he was strong, but his real power was always his calculated mind. and how cunning he was. You see, Akeno, bringing change is not that difficult in this world. You just have to have the will to bring the change, Naruto said. You know the ninja world will not crumble so easily to your whims, said Akeno. But Naruto simply smiled. Something that is supposed to die and doesn't. It will eventually rot away, whether it's a man or a nation. Is it over? Akeno asked. As Naruto simply smiled. I'm just getting started, he said. Meanwhile that was going on, a pair of dark eyes was watching the Uzumaki. Ever since the fall of Uzu, he has been following this boy every moment, as he saw the changes in the Uzumaki boy. Instead of cursing his world like a little brat, Naruto adapted to the change of his world. Naruto may be young and not much powerful yet, but the boy had a mind that could rival the most oldest shinobis. As the boy's mind finally matched with his, the person was observing him, and the person enjoyed seeing panic and chaos spread through the Fire Nation. The man chuckled to himself. He is truly chaos incarnate. On hearing Naruto's last declaration to this world, it is just beginning, and watching Naruto leave with that woman. As the man spoke, humans are so interesting. Time skip. Minato sat on one of the large trees, as he was currently in the forest of death. As his eyes were fixed on a picture of a young masked boy, there was a small cross beneath that picture in the bingo book, as it was recently updated by Konoha. The Shadow. He always liked that nickname his son earned for himself over the years. Even though Naruto was a mere chunin in the bingo book, there was a caution at the bottom of his name about the boy's ability to surprise and turn tables. He was always proud of this trait which his son had inherited from him. Despite all evidence pointing towards Naruto's death, Minato knew that wasn't the case. Some might say it was Minato's delusion of coping over this grief. He would have believed that as well, but if it wasn't for the last conversation he had with the boy. Over the years since their separation, Minato tried to stay in touch with his son through letters, since he was not allowed to visit Uzu. There was only one reply that he ever got back from Naruto, which Minato was currently holding in his hands. As he looked at the words that his son sent him, words that haunted Minato, as it read, "Even when I was in a crowd, I was always alone." Those words were sharper than any blade, more painful than any wound. He could only imagine the kind of life his son went through to say those heartbreaking words. As he could only remember that single, one-on-one conversation he had with his boy a few months ago. Minato observed the surprised look on his son's face as Naruto was on guard duty. As Naruto was surprised to see a Konoha jonin sneaking in their territory, mostly in a surprising manner like this, and it was his own father. With speed, Minato knocked out the two Chunin guards that was with Naruto and was now standing in front of his boy. "What are you doing here, Jonin?" Naruto said, as he pointed his blade towards Minato. Minato grimaced. Those cold words are a lot, but he knew deep down he deserved them. "Do you not know who I am?" Minato asked. Hope visible in his eyes, begging for his son to know who he is. "My biological creator said that you were the donor that helped felicitate my existence. Nothing more, nothing less," Naruto said, making his father flinch at the way he referred to him. Despite expecting that while coming here, it still hurt Minato and pained him badly to hear those words. "I suppose I earned that remark," said Minato apologetically, as he gave a sad smile to his son. As Naruto lowered his tanto and then sighed. "I give you this one chance to walk away, if only for the unfortunate fact that I exist because of you." As Minato raised an eyebrow, "You think you can defeat me?" he asked curiously, as he was surprised. Naruto shook his head. "It would be foolish to assume so. However, that doesn't mean I won't put up a fight. I am a ninja of Uzu, and you're illegally stepping foot in my nation. It is my duty to stop you, no matter the relationship we share." Minato simply smiled. "It seems you're wise than most people your age. But rest assured, I'm not here to harm your nation. I came here to see you," said Minato, making Naruto frown. "There was no need for that," Naruto said, as Minato lowered his head in guilt. "You're my son, Naruto," he said, as he watched Naruto clench his fists tight, trying hard to control his emotions. Yet Minato could feel the temperature becoming cold and killing intent leaking from the boy. Just don't. It has taken me years to understand and accept the reality of my life. I don't hold you guilty for what you did. Just like I'm a ninja of my village, you're a ninja of your village as well. Soldiers are meant to serve nation first, then society, then their comrades. And if it is possible, then themselves in the end, Naruto said, with conviction. Minato couldn't help but stare at his son with pride in his eyes. You've become a great ninja, Naruto, he said. Despite the bad feelings, those words made Naruto pause. As for a split second, Minato saw those look in Naruto's eyes, and that relieved some of his burden. His son didn't really hate him, he was simply indifferent towards him. And Minato could try to live with that. I came here to congratulate you for passing the Chunin exams and acing them. You're a Chunin now. I know I have no right to speak with you, yet. I want to wish you luck in your life, said Minato. You don't have, but Minato raised his hand, stopping Naruto. As Minato pulled that scroll, Naruto became alert, but Minato placed it on the ground. I know I failed you, Naruto, and there's nothing I can say or do. But if you're ever in trouble, open this scroll. And why would I do that, Naruto asked skeptically, as he saw a sad smile arrive in his father's face. I'm your father, Naruto. Despite everything, I love you with everything in my heart. As Naruto simply closed his eyes, as he pointed his tauntaun away. You should go, he said. Minato nodded, and with a heavy heart he started to walk away. But Minato didn't stop, as he had a question. Why do you fight, Naruto? He asked. As Naruto simply stopped and just looked at him. Naruto then turned around, as he glanced up into the sky. To gain the strength, to freely accomplish my dreams. One could also say to gain power, to take control of my life. To be the master of my own life, Naruto said. As Minato was surprised by those words. End of the flashback. No one but himself knew, but those words completely changed Minato Namikaze. They gave birth to his dream. The reason he lost custody to his son back then. The reason he failed to save Kushina from such a pain. It was because he was weak. He didn't have any thought back then. He was a mere Chunin, with the Kages and other major political head over him. He couldn't do anything. But on that day, he made a pledge to himself and the world. Naruto, I don't know where you are right now, he said. But one day, I will win the entire universe for you. With those determined words, he jumped off a tree and landed as he started to walk away. A world war has started, and he will make sure that Konoha emerge as a true victor to pave the way for accomplishment of his dreams. But if Minato knew one thing for sure, it was the fact that he would meet his son once more again. Meanwhile, Kushina was caressing the photo of her son in her hand, as Uzumaki sent her a photo of Naruto in his Chunin uniform, as his tauntaun was strapped on his back, with his face covered by a face mask. He looked so handsome, yet at the same time she didn't miss those cold, hollow eyes that stared back at her. They were the eyes of someone who never experienced love. What she was looking at was a determined, devoted assassin whose reason for existing was to serve Uzo, to live for the village, and die for the village. Her son swore that oath when he took up that uniform. Such path she did not wish for him, and yet she couldn't do anything to stop it. He still went down it. It was not like she tried to break away from him. It was the complete opposite. She had sent so many letters, pictures of her and Minato, and so many presents on his birthday. But the only thing she received was silence. All these years right up to this. She has never cursed her destiny as a Jinchuriki so much before, as it took away the most precious thing for her. Naruto was the one good thing that happened for her, and she threw him away. She could have fought harder. She could have done something more, couldn't she? If only she had done that, her son would have been here alive today. Due to her and Minato's mistakes, Naruto lived a lonely life devoid of family, and he died alone. As she could still remember that dark night, when a squad of Anbu forcefully took her child away. The Hokage and the Uzumaki watched, with a professional look in their eyes. A teenager Minato, and Jiraiya was standing there as well. Unlike her, he was not crying. He had his eyes closed. His fist was clenched, and no matter how she pleaded Minato, he never looked at her. The last memory she remembered of that night was Naruto's crying voice. But there is only one thing on her mind now: killing. As she wanted to inflict harm, suffering, and hatred on those people who destroyed her village and killed her son. She was going to make those 3 villages suffer. The wooden wall cracked because of the killing intent she was pushing out, as rapid knocks were on her door. She got up and walked towards the door, and she told those annoying envoys, unless there was a mission, she should not be disturbed. I told you to leave me out. She paused, as she saw the person stand at her doorstep, with a wide, innocent smile on his face. You, she said. Moments later, Naruto was standing on one of the large sand dunes, as Akainu was beside him, as they were observing a large structure, as the two of them are waiting for the bright moon in the sky to hide for a while. And that will be the moment that they strike. Akainu was silent the entire time. It has been 3 days since they are attacking the Fire Nation, and tonight the flames of war will envelop the 2 nations. Why is this world so twisted, Akainu? She would have missed the question if she wasn't so alert right now. Even then, those words coming from someone like Naruto surprised her. I wonder if my actions will change anything in this world, or will they be just as meaningless as my own existence, Naruto asked. Naruto, she said, I want to achieve peace through force. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I want to believe what I'm doing today will make people understand each other, Naruto said. I think people can only understand things if they experience it, said Akainu. As Naruto smiled a little, I understand what loneliness meant, and now I understand what happiness and sadness means. What hatred means, what revenge means, but I don't know what peace means. Neither does the world, Naruto, she said, giving him an encouraging smile. Then I want to learn what peace is and teach the world as well. Even if the world reject me, I will keep on fighting, he promised. As Naruto blinked when Akainu entwined her hand with his, as he turned and saw a light burning in her eyes, as she gave him a determined look. Then, let us fight together. To learn peace, she said. Both of them shared firm nods. Akainu was surprised Naruto pulled her towards him and wrapped her in a firm hug. I never letting you go again. No words could describe how happy and satisfied she was on hearing those words from him. As the pain, the suffering she felt, being captured by those Konoha scum, she could only imagine what he felt. He was a leader of their group of survivors. He may not admit it outwards, but he felt responsible for each and everyone's death. People often took him as the most strongest person in their team. Well, as a shinobi he was, but when it comes to being a human, he was the weakest in their trio. For Naruto, Nagato, and Akainu was the closest thing he had for a family. You aren't getting rid of me that easy, Naruto, she teased, as he gently broke the hug. He stood back on his feet as he observed the large sand dam in front of them. The modern invention was one of the sand's most crucial assets. It was a lifeline of nearly 20% of its population, and Naruto was aware of the consequences of a direct attack on this place. For a few seconds his grip on his Tonto wavered, as he tried to imagine the suffering that he would be inflicting on this world. But they're never painless. Sacrifices are never painless. Regret are always there, no matter what. Akainu saw his trembling stop as he took a deep breath, as his blue eyes glanced at the dark sky. People may be satisfied with this world, but I'm not, he said, as Naruto placed a bird mask in his face, as he was currently dressed in Konoha Anfu uniform. As he gave one last nod to Akainu, as he dashed towards the dam. Akainu went through hand signs, bit her thumb as well, as she slammed her hand on the sand, summoning jutsu. As a vulture appeared, she leaped on top of it and soared in the dark sky. The large creature camouflaged itself in dark skies. Altras, we shall support him. Sink with me, said Akainu, as she slammed her hands together. As the bird nodded, Akainu started to channel her chakra into the summon, as the bird started to flap its wings wildly. On the ground, a pair of sand chunins saw a large sandstorm in the distance. It was brewing. Tell the others to take shelter, instructed the senior chunin. Will do, man. What a mess. I'll also inform the engineers to take precaution measures to safeguard the water, he said. You do that. Inform the guards to not mess around in the storm. They can be deadly. Roger, he said. As soon as the younger Chunin went off to give his orders, the senior Chunin turned to see a figure emerge right in front of him in pure darkness. Before he could even say anything, his head was sliced off. As Naruto quickly took cover behind the wall of the dam, as the blood started drenched in the sand. As Naruto raised two of his fingers, and four shadow clones of him flashed beside him. All of them having that same cold, calculated look in their eyes. The enemy is taking shelter from the sandstorm Akainu is creating. But she can't maintain it for too long. We only have a 5 minutes window to extract our plan, said the real Naruto. Should we go in and eliminate all the enemy forces? They should be easily killed now since you're hiding in shelter, said one of the clones. That will take too much time, another clone said. Yes, the longer we take, the more Akaino's chakra will get used up. We must keep her in mind as well, inform another clone. If we attract too much attention, then the sand forces will follow us, and we will get trapped between their approaching force and the Konoha force, said the last clone. Before they could continue with their discussion, the real Naruto pulled out 4 scrolls as he handed to each of them, spread out in all directions. As he pointed towards a map, placed them on all these points. Now, the clones nodded as all of them vanished. As Naruto placed his own scroll near one of the damn giant walls, he placed his finger on the communication device in his ear. Akainu, how are you doing? He asked worriedly. It is taking more chakra than I've expected, she said. But don't worry, I can still go on. Understood, Naruto said. As Naruto saw the sandstorm approaching, the sand village has been on massive edge these past few days, since Konoha was building up massive armed battalions near their borders. However, since they were allies, no official battle has been initiated by the Sand Village. But with this, all bets will be off the table. War will be inevitable, Naruto thought. All charges set, the clone said over the communication devices. As Naruto started to move away from the dam borders, once he was far enough, he raised 2 fingers, slowly, channeling chakra. Boom! As he saw from the corner of his eyes, the structure collapse as the water started to spread out everywhere. The cries of the horrified sand ninjas and civilians screamed in his ear. Akainu was waiting for him at the end with her summon. As the sandstorm was stopped, as she watched the entire nation in panic and chaos. We finally did it, didn't we? Akainu asked. Yeah, Naruto said, his eyes fixed on the dark sky. If you fight, people die. If you don't, they still die. I guess it's true. There is no right or wrong in this world, said Akainu. Naruto's eyes widened as he sensed something coming towards him fast. He quickly spun around and blocked a strike. You're damn right, brats, a man said. Sparks fly everywhere as Akainu watched in shock. As from seeing this man, Naruto could tell he was a monster. As Naruto's gaze landed on the man, he was dressed in the Kiri Hunter Nin uniform, wielding a long, sharp sword. His face was covered by a Hunter Nin mask, and what was strange was that his skin was blue. In the small gaps of his mask, Naruto saw the man was grinning, as he had shark-like teeth. And his chakra level. This is just insane, Naruto thought. The sheer chakra level of this ninja was matching those of a damn Kage. And his strength. With just a small grunt, the ninja sent Naruto flying away. Akainu realized the situation, brought out her own tanto and released herself on Ninja with a fierce battle cry. Akainu, stop! Naruto yelled. As Naruto could feel the power in the man as he brought his sword down on Akainu. Time seemed to slow down for Naruto as he watched his close friend charge to her impending doom. Slash! As blood fell all over the sand. As 2 horrified expression was shown. As a Kiri ninja grinned with a surprise, Akainu crashed on the ground, sand surrounding her. As her gaze landed on him, Naruto, she said. Tears welled up in her eyes as the sound of his broken tanto hitting the sand reached her ears. There was a large spray of blood as a crimson liquid came down from Naruto's shoulder, but the most. Stay focused, Akainu. This one is out of your league, Naruto said. Akainu stiffened as his entire left eye was destroyed. A huge blast of chakra from Naruto made his opponent jump away. "I won't let you harm her," Naruto said, as his left eye was completely destroyed, but it was worth it. He still couldn't understand the power in this Kira ninja, despite him using his speed to his full. He barely put himself in time. He hoped that with his Tonto he could block the strike, but the weapon teared right through his Tonto, slicing his left eye and tearing through his shoulder. Akino arrived beside him, tears falling from her eyes as she watched what he sacrificed for her. "That's some speed you got there, brat. Not to mention guts. You must really care about this girl," the Kira ninja said curiously. "Bastard," Akino said. She was about to charge, but Naruto raised his injured arm in front of her, blocking her way. "You're no match for him. Even I don't think I am," Naruto confessed. It was hard for her to accept this bitter fact, but it did not change the truth right in front of her. No matter how strong he and Akino were, they were still Chunin. This man were far stronger, faster, and more experienced. As Naruto could feel it, if their opponent was to release his full power, he could wipe the floor with them rather easily. Compared to his chakra, him and Akino's chakra were like a water drop in the man's vast ocean of chakra. For the first time, Naruto felt so outclassed. Not only did he lose the eye, but a bitter truth has been shown in front of him. He's weak. "You're weak," the Kira ninja said, as Naruto grit his teeth in pain and frustration. Beside him, he could feel Akino's anger. She was a hothead, and watching her comrade getting talked like this was getting on her nerves, but she could not realize the danger that they were in. Plus, she was extremely low on chakra after summoning that vulture, and that sandstorm, it took a lot out of her. The gears turned in Naruto's mind as he came to one conclusion, as he closed his remaining eye and took in a deep breath. He then turned towards Akino with a small smile. "Take care of Nagato," he said. Her eyes widened, seeing look in his eyes, but by then his hand touched her neck as her vision became dark. Naruto caught her before she could jump as he turned towards the opponent. "I get the feeling that you want a good fight," Naruto asked. "True. Glad to see your cunningness has not dimmer over the past few days. You're interested in ninja," said the Kira ninja, as Naruto narrowed his eyes at those words. They were cryptic. They had been followed. Not that he thought about it. The three great nations that sent ninjas to destroy Uzu probably sent hunter names after the rest of them who survived to slaughter them off completely. It went to show that he had a long way to go, both in strength and foresight, as he was a Chunin, powerful, but still young. He quickly created a clone. The clone quickly grabbed Akino in his arms and started to retreat back towards the borders of Konoha. As Naruto observed his opponent, he didn't try to stop it. As if the Kira ninja was reading his mind, he spoke. "I have no interest in weaklings. There is no human in a ragtag group of survivals who interests me, except for you." As Naruto gave him a mocking smile. "Oh, I'm flattered," he said sarcastically. "So, you're ready to die now?" the Kira ninja asked. As Naruto raised the eyebrow on hearing that question. "And what makes you think that?" "Well, you send the girl away in a noble yet foolish way to face me. Thereby, you're buying some time." The hunter ninja quickly jumped towards the left, but it was too late as something tore through his leg, as blood sprayed out on the sand. You assume too much," Naruto said. "You live up to your reputation, Shadow," the hunter ninja said, even as blood flew from his left leg that was sporting a nasty cut. "It's impolite to not introduce yourself," Naruto said, as the man gave him a mocking bow. "The name is Kisame Hoshigaki." Naruto raised an eyebrow. He would have to keep an eye out for this one. That is, if he can make it out of this alive. Now that he had only one eye left, he had to be cautious. The rest of the wounds across his body started to heal, to Kisame's disappointment. "I'm not gonna die tonight," Naruto said, as he picked up Akino's Tonto that was left behind by her. "Bold words for a brat with only one eye," said Kisame, as he released a monstrous amount of ki. Instead of the brat falling to his knees and shaking, Kisame saw the boy just chuckle, and then dark shrouds of chakra started to be released from the boy's body. Strange seals glow on the Tonto held by Naruto, and soon the weapon was engulfed in a bright light. After a few seconds, it died down, as Kisame saw the previous small Tonto transformed into a broadsword. Uzumakis. Surely created very interesting toys, thought Kisame. As Kisame had to admit, this ninja wasn't ordinary. The sheer malice and hatred that made up his power would scare any lesser ninja, but it had the opposite effect on Kisame. In a burst of speed, Kisame dashed forward and tear his blade right through the boy's torso, as he then skidded back, but to his surprise, his back erupted in pain as it was sliced. He quickly turned to see Naruto standing in a different position, his sword coated with Kisame's blood. Looks like I'll have to go all out again soon, Naruto said. Interesting, said Kisame, as Kisame clasped his hands together, and Naruto felt a large amount of chakra being gathered. As Kisame stepped forward, water style, violent water wave. A monstrous water wave was sent towards Naruto. To think he can create so much water in the midst of a desert, Naruto thought. This man's power was truly magnificent. As Naruto stepped forward and extended both of his hands, closing his single eye, he searched for the energy driving the attack and smirk. Kisame frowned as his attack stopped midway. What? Kisame said in shock, for his own attack was now rushing right back at him. Words couldn't even express how Kisame was feeling. Never in his life someone has done this. Not even a bloody Kage could do this. A Kekkai Genkai, Kisame thought in horror. He quickly created another giant water wave as it smashed into the previous one, creating a small river in the desert. As hundreds of small water droplets fell from the sky, Kisame brought his sword upwards. Sparks flew as metal clashed against metal furiously. Take this, Kisame yelled as he slashed his sword straight towards the boy's head. Again, the boy simply disappeared and re-emerged somewhere else, staring at Kisame. What the hell is going on, Kisame thought, as he looked around cursing. His eyes widened when Naruto dashed towards him at frightening speed. Kisame looked left and right to keep up with the boy's movements, as the boy was moving so fast. As he saw the boy flashed in the air in front of him and came down his blade. But guys, will be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below and turn the bell notifications to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends to your social media platform. And also, stay in tune for the rest of the what ifs coming your way. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you.